Hello and welcome back to a new series of developer diary videos where I'm going to be talking about my most recent project. Not the only active project I've got, unfortunately, but the most recent one, which is a little competitive puzzle drop game that's going by the name of Magical Fairy Drop. This is kind of an offshoot of Magical Fairy Force, which is a game I released for the Atari 5200. Oh, I don't know. When was that? 2020, maybe? Can't remember exactly when that came out. And I released a version of it for the PC on Steam as well, called Magical Fairy Force Champion Edition. And after completing that game, I was sitting on this big pile of characters, and I thought, I'd really love to do something else with these characters. And I've done quite a few of these block and pit type puzzle games in the past. I decided, I should do another one. And I want to take these characters and use them kind of like Capcom did in Puzzle Fighter. And that's how this project was born. But another thing I'm doing with this project is I'm actually developing it simultaneously for the PC and the Atari 5200. Now we'll get to the 5200 version in a little bit here, but let's start by looking at what I have for the PC version so far. And I want to emphasize that everything you see here is a placeholder. I'm mostly just reusing graphics from my PC game at this point. And this is still very, very early in development, so this isn't super impressive yet. But at the moment, the game opens up with this character select screen, and these are all ripped straight from my PC game. And these are the 16 characters from the PC game. And you'll be able to choose from one of these 16 characters, and you'll fight the other player in block and pit battle, just like Puzzle Fighter. Now, the exact differences between the characters are still being fleshed out. I have some ideas on that. There's a lot of game design left to do. So your actual character selection doesn't do anything at this point. So let's go ahead and get to the game. Now on this screen right now, there's only a single pit. There's actually support in the PC version for both player 1 and player 2 pits, but since I'm still experimenting with mechanics right now, I'm just showing the one. But what you do here is you drop these single objects into this pit, in this case these clouds. And if you make a row of them, like I just did there, the very last one you drop turns into a star. So if you've played Magical Fairy Force, and you all have, right? You should recognize the clouds and the stars. These are elements from that game, and they serve kind of a similar purpose in this game. So in Magical Fairy Force, when you destroyed the stars, you would gain attack power that you could use against your opponent. And the same goes here. So if you can get stars to appear adjacent to each other, they'll disappear and you'll gain some kind of attack power that you can use. None of that actually happens yet. Well, the attack power part. The stars will disappear, and I'll try to set that up here as I'm fumbling around with these clouds. And that's at least the initial basic gameplay loop is going to be to create the stars and then match the stars to gain attack power. And then you'll be able to start doing things to your opponent. And of course, you'll have to deal with your opponent doing the same thing to you. Now, the details of what your opponent's going to do to you are still up in the air. But now I'm about to match a stars. In fact, I'm going to have 3 of them here. So when I put this here, the stars will go away as well. See, because they all match out. And there'll be some kind of animation inserted in there at some point. Like right now, it's just a very simple match and go thing. And here I'll eliminate these 2 as well. And that's kind of the basic idea. Now, what's really interesting about this is that originally my plan for this was just your kind of fairly typical colored block matching thing. And I had actually implemented the whole idea here on the PC side, and it just wasn't fun. I didn't like it at all. So I completely scrapped that idea. And then I thought, well, what if I took the elements from the shooter game and used them in the puzzle game and made the puzzle game as almost like an alternate interpretation of the shooter game. So that's kind of what I'm doing here. And the other elements from the shooter will appear at some point. I haven't quite figured out what they're going to do, but they'll appear eventually. So that's what I'm going for, instead of just the typical color matching thing, which, anybody can do that. But I think it's probably enough out of the PC version for now. So let's go take a look at the Atari side of things. Now, what's really interesting about this game is that the typical Atari 5200 cartridge is 32 kilobytes in size. Now, I've written 5 5200 games at this point, and every single one of them has been a 32K game. This is the first time I'm using a 512 kilobyte cartridge. This thing is massive. It's amazing. I've got 16 times the space I would normally have. And with that space, I was able to create this fantastic character select screen where I've got these giant images, and I'm using one of the crazy Antic high color modes for these. And it's just fantastic. Now, there's a little bit of jerkiness on this emulator around the edges of the pictures, like toward the top and the bottom, like a little bit of flickering. That's an issue with the emulator. On real hardware, this works perfectly, so don't worry about that. But what I have here is these are the 8 original characters from the 5200 game, and then I have the 8 new characters from the PC game. So these 8 new characters have never appeared on the Atari before, so they're brand new. And just like in the PC version, this screen doesn't really... It's just for show at this point. I just wanted to see if I could do it. But this is a fantastic example of what you can do with a 512K cartridge, because there's no way I could have pulled this off on 32K. Just not going to happen. But I can go ahead here into the game proper, and you can see it looks pretty much functionally the same as the PC version, and it works just like the PC version. Right now it's at parity with the PC version, and you can see that I'm doing the same things that I was doing in the PC version. And it seems to be working okay, so we're good. It's been a while since I've tried this on real hardware. I need to see how well it plays with the 5200 joystick at this moment. And I'm actually considering trackball control, which I think might be an interesting thing to try with this type of game. And I might do that. That would be very, very fun to do. But, you see, I can blow the stars away. Same thing. So that's about where the Atari version is. And my goal is to develop the two games in a way that maintains parity. I want to keep them as close to each other as I can, and release them at the exact same time, because I think it's really cool to release a new game for the PC and the Atari 5200 all at once. I mean, who does that, right? Just me, apparently. But that is what I'm working on now and where I'm at right now, and just wanted to show that off so people get some idea of what I'm working on. I definitely plan to post more about this project, and I have a couple other projects I'm working on. I want to, kind of get moving on again, because it's been tough for me to get time to work on this stuff lately. So hopefully I'll be posting more videos on my game projects in the future. But that's your taste for now of what Magical Fairy Drop is going to be. And stay tuned for more news, and we'll see you later.